Honestly, I think we're focusing on the wrong thing with the tush push. I think it's more of a like a red herring here with the tush push. The new playoff format is the one that they're gonna
It's
try
gonna
to
pass.
sneak through because this is the one that I know there's a lot of conversation in terms of what the heck is gonna happen with the new playoff format because as and people have been saying like, oh, the Chargers would have hosted the Texans had this
I
gone
like
through,
that. I
and
like
so
that.
this is kind of the one where I'm just like, are you gonna be okay with this or are you not? Because
What's
come
the
the
point
end
of
of the
winning your
season,
division now?
yeah.
But like,
That's
come
what I don't
on.
like.
No, that's bullshit. Come on. If you are in some, brain dead division like the NFC South and the AFC South, both Souths, you really deserve a playoff game just because
Yeah,
you're in
what's
a
the point of
shithead
divisions at that
division?
point? Get rid of divisions and ruin
Yeah.
rivalries.
No, but you only do that for what's it called now?
I think in the next
Organization.
I think in the next 10 years we're gonna see them get rid of divisions and basically be like it's gonna be like the NBA. They're just gonna be like the 7 best teams.
This is
are the
gonna
ones that
pass
go
though.
in.
I feel like because once I read that Goodell was interested in all the like if this new format will I guess not allow teams to rest players in week 17, week 18. The games are more
Yeah.
competitive. The TV
Yeah.
networks are happier. No one's gonna sit the stars. And by the way, the Rams, the Texans, other teams that rested, they all won their playoff games. And then the NFL say no, we don't want you resting players in week 18, week 17. So that to me is why it's gonna get passed.
Well, I mean, you've heard all the crap that he wants to do. He wants to go to 18 games. Now he's
Too
talking
much.
about
All about the
I
money.
want
It's what he cares
16
about.
I
Oh,
want
yeah,
the,
that's
I
why I
want the
can't
first
stand
16
Goodell.
weeks of the NFL schedule, or like the 16 weeks, all of it, like one game internationally, and then the last 2 weeks they could be at home.
Dude, did you guys see what happened to the Chargers? They couldn't find a spot for them to come back home after Brazil, so they said,
of
"You know
Chris
what?
Brown's
Next
concert.
closest, go to Las
Yeah.
Vegas."
Yeah,
All right, so that's
go to
crap
Vegas.
like
So the
that,
Chargers
man.
get
Think it through.
the Chargers get screwed too. Well, and remember, they're also the ones that are going to play an extra preseason game, and they're going to go to Canton. So that like
Yeah.
So
you're
maybe put a
literally
different team in Brazil. You can't figure it out.
yeah. Well, and
It's
you
gonna
know
be
what?
a magical
I'm wondering,
year. It's gonna
The
be
miles,
it with all this
the miles that they're
adversity.
flying, they didn't
37,
30
38,000.
38,000.
38,000.
They didn't take into account the preseason because they traveled twice in preseason. So that's probably around 40,000 miles.
Five,
While the
6 months to
Bengals are only
prepare.
doing 8,000. That's
Yeah.
the crazy part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one wants to see them, I guess.
But yeah, no, that's a good.
all this
More
adversity,
games,
I
more
love
money
it.
for TV contracts.
Oh yeah, that Goodell's ruining the league. I've already said it. I'm not gonna beat a dead
Yeah.
horse.
Not for the
It's making
owners.
it worse.
And that was
money.
the other
Go
that was
ahead,
the
Vic.
other thing that came out of this too. Like, I was reading that Albert Greer article too about remember they made such a big fuss about it 2 years ago where the Chiefs had to play within 10 days, 3 games in 10 days.
Oh yeah.
And so even the Jets had to do the same thing where they played like on a Monday night, then played a game like on a Sunday and then on a Thursday night, something like that, where it was a
Yeah.
10-day gap there. And so the Jets complained, and we saw what happened with their season last season at the beginning of the season. Sorry. And so they try to stay away from that. And as you guys mentioned too, the whole thing with the Chargers. So
Did you see
yeah,
the
that
whole
was
point about Aaron Rodgers not signing because he was worried about the Steelers getting a crappy schedule like that because he's on the team? Like I started thinking about it, it's actually kind of smart.
yeah.
It is, and especially because like Vic said last week, he doesn't have to worry about being there now. He'll probably sign after minicamp and just be like, all right, I'm ready to go now. He's gonna pull a Brett Favre and do it right before training camp and just be like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Don't the Steelers and the Jets play each other week one? Another
yeah, that's
money
right,
hungry
because
They
they
had
knew.
to know. They had to
Yes.
know that
Come
he is
on.
going to sign there. By the way, speaking of which, Apple TV is the future of what we're watching, and I'll tell you why. I left the San Diego FC game early on Saturday, and I was with Dan, and I was watching it. Well, I was driving. Dan was in the passenger seat, but I gave him my phone, and on when you go to audio, you can switch to the local radio station on there and listen and watch the game while listening to the local radio call it.
Oh,
So
that's
it was-
crazy.
Yeah, so it was you could do the national people, whoever's calling it, or you can go to the local, which was our compa Adrian Garcia Marquez and and Darren Smith. So you could go to that, and I'm like, wow, that's going to be implemented pretty soon, where they're going to be able to do that, where you can either listen, like you can listen to I don't know, Mark Sanchez and whoever the hell he's with, or
Trash.
you could listen to Matt Money Smith and Daniel Jeremiah.
I don't know if
So-
YouTube TV could do that because every time I put a freaking Red Zone or the NFL package last year, they couldn't figure out where the hell I was. Like, my
really?
Wi-Fi kept saying like, "Oh, you're not at home, so
Zimbabwe.
you don't get to watch 3 games." I'm like, "What the hell? Like, figure it out,
Oh,
Google."
You know what?
so
It's crazy. Speaking of which, speaking of this,
the
games in
Rams are going
Australia.
there next year, I think.
Yeah, the Rams are going.
Oh,
there.
really? Oh, you
Yeah,
think
and they're supposed to play the Eagles, from what I've heard.
Oh, wow. I think
and they're
here's a
bad
bold
though.
prediction.
My brutality.
They're gonna go to Australia or to Saudi Arabia pretty soon for a game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then look at it.
Will,
Yeah.
you're joking, but you're right, man.
No, he's
No,
not
no, no.
joking.
Okay,
I'm not
yeah,
joking.
okay.
That's a
Well, it should
prediction.
be a joke. But
Well, yeah, it's all a joke. Like, are you kidding me? It should only be played in one place, and that's the U.S. of A. Baby.
you know,
Mexico.
speaking
No.
of Connor
Canada.
Orr,
No,
he mentioned in one of the
England.
stories saying that I guess the NFL is so thirsty that look at soccer overseas. Like they don't bring out their best for the biggest games over here. They don't give a crap. They have
it's
their
all
attention, their money.
preseason. It's
Yep.
all preseason.
Well, I'll tell you one
Crap
thing.
like that.
I'll tell
This
you
is
one
so-
thing. The Club World
North
Cup is going to be
Korea.
here in the United States in the next month.
Come on,
And
you know that's-
supposedly they're bringing all the teams that are coming to that are bringing Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe. Like
yeah.
they're bringing all their best players to play
They're
in
bringing
that.
them, but are they going
For
to
the
play
World
them?
Cup? Or
No,
for,
they're going to play them.
No, it's
no,
Club
the
World
Club
Cup.
World
It's
Cup.
different.
So,
Okay,
like
sorry, where the
Real
heck that is?
Madrid,
They're
Real
playing
Madrid, all these
Chivas,
teams are coming in.
Monterrey, and America. Like, what are we talking about?
Hey,
Okay,
Monterrey
so
has
maybe the
Sergio
NFL is not
Ramos.
as dumb, but the point was like the NFL is always doing like these like please
the
look at us, pay
NFL
attention to us.
The NFL is getting dangerously close to TKO and what's happening with wrestling and what's happening
Yeah.
with
Oh, yeah.
the UFC and boxing. You're getting dangerously close. Once you feel and taste that fame, you want more of it, and that's where Roger Goodell's going to run it. Like he thinks that going to all these countries is going to be, oh my God, we're going to gain new fans. No, you don't. Most of your fans from here are the ones flying out there and
Yeah.
going to the games out there because they're the only ones that can afford to go to those games.
Yeah.
Send the
And
practice
it's-
squad guys like in the
I
summer. Come
talked
on.
to when I was at the San Diego FC game a couple of weeks ago. I talked to a Charger fan that I think Gilbert you would know as well. And I was asking him, "Are you go?" He goes to most of the away games. Mike, are you going? He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Brazil." And I'm like, "Oh crap, really?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to Brazil." He's like, "I'm not going to go to Canton." He's like, "But I'll go to about 5 away games." But yeah, there's a big. I was like, how many fans are going to Brazil? He's like, "Oh." He's like, there's about like 5,000 of us going from Charger fans that have season tickets here. We're all going to go to there. And I'm like, oh, wow. So,
Yeah, because in the favelas, I don't know if you know this, they get
Okay,
tickets all the time. Like,
No,
what are we
allegedly.
talking? No. I'm backing your point that's
Okay.
obvious. Like,
Yeah.
you're taking them to Brazil, to some of these countries.
remember what
like,
happened? The World Cup in 2014 that was in Brazil.
Yeah, that
It was one of
bad.
the most dangerous World Cups that
Yeah.
fans were going
Yeah.
to. They were getting assaulted. They were getting robbed. They were getting everything because fans were coming in with money. You have to remember the World Cups. It's doctors. It's people that have a bunch of money, people that are rich that are
Like a
coming to
travel,
these events.
yeah.
There are other people that come from that put a third mortgage on their house and they say, when am I ever going to go to a World Cup? And they
Yeah.
go. So you get all kinds of people from every walks of life that go to these things, but they have more money than the people of the countries of where they're
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah.
So
How about
I'm
these
surprised,
NFL games?
like-
Are they local people or are they freaking rich Americans making the trip or the 5,000 Chargers fans from the US? Like that,
No, that's what it is. A lot of their
that's not what he's trying to
I
aim.
bet
He's
you if you
supposed
and
to
I
get
went
more
down
fans from the
there-
local countries.
if you and I went down there and we interviewed every single person that's there in their seats, I bet you 90% of them are going to be from the United States.
Yeah.
And then 5,000 of them or 5% of them are going to be, or 5 to 15% are going to be people that got gifted tickets because of their company
Corporations,
or
yeah.
because of
Yeah.
whatever. So that's exactly what's happening right now with the NFL, to where they're getting dangerously close to, dude, to go to SummerSlam in New Jersey, $40,000 to sit ringside. When have you ever seen that kind of pricing? It's pretty crazy. Yeah, Tom, I saw that Lorenzo Neal sponsored by a company that provides all the travel details to go to Brazil. Yeah,
No
so a
thanks,
bunch of
Angel.
people-
I'd like to survive.
a bunch
Yeah,
of people are
and
going.
that's the
down
other
there.
thing. Like going off of your point, Fernando, is like you want to go like to those cities that you would want to travel. Like, hey, if you told me that my favorite team was going to London,
To
like
Spain?
like Spain,
Yeah.
like Dan has talked about, even Greece, I'd be down. Why would
Yeah.
I want to like? I'm sorry, like it doesn't sound appealing to go to Brazil. Like you pick another, like
Dude,
there's
giant
other
nun.
Especially when you
Argentina.
heard what
say
happened
China?
last year. No, Argentina.
Oh,
No. Vic said Argentina.
Yeah,
Especially because you already heard last year all the tall tales that happened.
don't wear green.
Don't wear green. The journalists had to be. They couldn't go around. They had to be there.
If you
in a
have to
bubble
tell
and
players do not leave the hotel room
Yeah.
for your safety, why are you going to begin with?
Yeah,
So F the
it's-
fans. Good luck to them getting
Yeah.
there and everything.
So
else.
and
Yeah.
that's the thing. And Vic, you're right. Spain, perfect. Greece, perfect. Like places like
Japan.
that's fine. Japan, fine. South
Japan would be
Korea,
better.
great. But when you start playing around, it's Australia. That's perfect.
Right.
But when you start playing around with fire, that's when you get burned.
There's
so,
only one reason
and
I
even
want to go
Mexico
to.
City, Gilbert and I and Eric.
I was a little
and Dan,
nervous. I was a little nervous for that one. Like,
No,
there
we
were
were
so-
That was
fine.
fine.
There
There's like
were
we
a
went
layer.
out.
there were
shut the
so
hell up.
many. There was like a whole battalion of army soldiers out there. What are you talking about?
Well, okay, but
'cause
that's
you
what
were
they
in
were
the
protecting.
press box. Yeah.
That's true. And
There's only one reason I would want to go.
and we
to
got
Brazil.
bussed in too.
Yeah, there's exactly.
That was the longest walk to the press box. too,
There's
by the way.
only
Oh,
one
dude.
reason I would want to go to Brazil, and that is to stand in the shadow of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ's statue. That's the only reason I would want to go down there.
Or just do what Dom
or go
did
take
from
pictures
Fast and the Furious.
where Dom Torero has been
Yeah.
to in
Who's that
Fast
guy?
and the
But I agree. Like the Chargers are gonna go to Greece within the next 2 years. Like
I'd
I
be
don't
down.
know.
Like
I don't know if next year or the
Jesus.
year after, but Dean keeps on talking about Greece and them playing at the Olympic Stadium that's famous for what they used to have. So I definitely
Dom, I get that. Totally get it. That's my Operation Real Madrid. That's number 2 if I'd go down there.
but
you know, somewhere I'm surprised they don't go more often, and I know it's Toronto. Like Toronto would make so much sense
well, they don't
too
go to
for
Canada at all.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Like that's the one place they
Too
never
cold.
hit is Canada. I don't know if they have an agreement with the Canadian Football League to where they
Maybe.
won't do it.
yeah,
maybe.
probably.
But
I remember they
Go to
used
Alaska.
to go like during
That'd be
preseason
cool.
games. They used to go there, and they used to go to Tokyo and Hawaii. They stopped doing that a long time ago.
Dude, Alaska would be so sick.
They
Could you imagine the
freeze.
stadium out there.
Yeah,
See
maybe
some
North-
caribou
maybe North Korea
walking
too, why
across.
not?
Oh, send the Green Bay Packers and let them all freeze out there in the tundra or something.
I don't think he's here anymore.